introduction needed. It's time for preaching.
Hey, sorry about that. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This one was tough. I tell you what. And what he means by being obedient, because I already had well, let me start like this. This one was a struggle. I mean, they're all struggles, obviously, right? They're all struggles for me. This one was really a big one, because it was a lot of firsts. So, I started last week at the beginning of the week. He gave me the subject forgiveness, right? So I get that subject. I start doing my thing on Monday. You know, I get my research. You know, I find Bible verses with forgiveness in it, and then I just see where he leads me to all my verses and to like where I need to go. You know, he gives me all that direction, right? So I'm doing my thing, getting ready for Sunday, and come Friday, I still, I'm feeling it, but I'm feeling a little different, and I don't know why. And I'm like, oh no, like he's trying to tell me something, and I'm like, oh no, yeah, because I like them. I like those feelings. I love those feelings, but it's like sometimes you're just like, oh no, now what? Not in a bad way. You just something's gonna happen, right? Something's gonna happen. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I'm just getting around, getting ready. On Friday, I get to work, I'm trying to open, and he gives me an idea, because this is my 12th sermon, and which I didn't like the idea, of course. I was like, no, that's all right. I got my subject. We'll just do that the next time, because that's what usually happens. Sometimes he'll give me two of them. Well, like, he'll give me one, and then he'll give me another one, and I just chalk that up to being as my next sermon, and that doesn't happen a lot. I think it's only happened like once or twice. So I just thought, oh, okay, cool. I'm ahead of the game. Now I'll do forgiveness now and what he wants me to do later. And he's like, I don't think so. It's like, no, that's what I'm going to do. To this day, right? It's unbelievable. That poor guy, he's just, come on, Jay, get it together. I'm getting there, though. But anyways, he lays on my heart that it's been 12 sermons. It's going to be my 12th sermon. And he says, how about you share what I have done thus far? Now, we're not talking about like my whole journey. We're just the year of me preaching. So he was like, which I don't like really talking about myself. I don't like talking. Well, I mean, I just like to have my walk talk, really. You know what I'm saying? Because I was taught not to boast. So I don't give no glory to myself, right? All to glory to God. And that's what he's telling me. He's like, yeah, exactly. Jay, it's not yourself. It's about me and what I'm doing for you thus far since I called you to preach. And I say, all right. And now I'm fighting with it. And I wish Juanita was here, because it was so funny, because mind you, we're trying to open, right? We're in the middle of opening. I got things to do. They got things to do. I got to do my own thing, so they're ready. I say, you guys, I got to make a phone call. And they looked at me like, what? Because I don't make phone calls, right, ever at work. So they're like thinking, I see it in their faces, like, is it serious? You know what I mean? I'm like, I just got to call Pastor. I got a thing. Just please give me like 5 minutes. And he was like, all right. I ran to my phone, literally, ran to my phone. I called Pastor. I said, Pastor. I could tell by his voice, he's like, why is he calling me? Because I never call him, right? And so he's thinking it's emergency. Most part, right? Let me tell him, the first time I did call him, though, out of emergency. Well, it wasn't even an emergency. I got out early, and this is my first time ever getting out early. I think, or it just didn't happen. Either way, I was like, he's like, hello? I said, well, sir? He's like, yeah. I said, well, they're letting me go, and it was a long pause. A long pause. He said, okay. And I said, let me go early. And he was like, oh, I'm on my way and I'm going to get you. It was just so funny. Anyways, I call him and I tell him the situation. I said, the Lord gave me a subject and I just need his reassurance. Can I change my sermon? Right? Like, he's like, yeah. And he gave me a story. He said, yeah, try being up here going to do your sermon, and he gives you a different sermon right as song ends. And I'm like, ooh, no. No, thank you. I could barely do this one. So I'm like, okay. I hang up the phone. I'm still struggling, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm still struggling with this. I'm like, I don't want to do this. But, which is crazy, because he's like, why don't you want to do this? You don't want to show them what I'm doing for you? And I'm like, well, he'll have you. Anyway, any kind of thing that you're going to come up with, he's going to counteract it. You know that. But here I am still. Don't know why I do this to myself. But I don't know. Yeah. We're getting there. He's getting there slowly but surely with me. I still have issues, obviously. Well, I'm struggling with it. I get home. I'm sitting there. I'm still struggling with it. I'm waiting for Pastor to get home. I'm like, come on. I just need to talk to you. I'm just waiting. He comes in. I'm like, yes. So I still said, hey, Pastor, I'm still struggling with this. You know, I don't really feel like I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk about myself. He says, you're not talking about yourself. You're talking about what God has done thus far, and you're just glorifying God. You're just giving him the glory, and you're the credit, and giving him the credit. And then he gives me a verse. I'm like, oh, man, well, I guess I am doing this because now I have a verse. You know what I mean? So I'm like, goodness sakes. I just want to do it my way. But I can't, because then it wouldn't be that, it wouldn't be right. Here he is still trying to this day, mold me in what he wants. And I make it easy, kind of. I want to know why, okay? Really. I just question him, like, come on, and he just, whatever. Poor. I'll get it, though. Anyway, so he gives me this verse. And this is Paul. It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 5, if you want to get there. This is probably going to be the only one I have you guys follow me with, because I'm going to be all over the place. So it's going to be 2 Corinthians chapter 13. This is when Paul is writing to them because they're like doubting him a little bit, like questioning his authority. And he's like writing to them saying, I'm on my way and you better shape up because you're going to question me. Let's examine yourselves. So that's exactly where this verse is coming from. So this is 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 5. And Paul says to the Corinthians, mind you, he's because they're questioning a little bit. He says, examine yourselves. Whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves. Know that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you again for this opportunity. Just to be up here and just give you glory, Lord. This is not about me. This is all that you have done for me thus far. And the moment you called me to preach, I just hope that I can be a light and reach out and just show those, if you be obedient, what you can do in their lives. So just help me make sense. Just be with us all. Open our hearts and our minds, Lord, and just be with us all. In Jesus' name, amen. So now he's telling them, and I can reflect. We can, this is Paul. We can say, right, because obviously if there's disciples, it's from Christ, right? So we can say Paul or Christ, is telling us, or me, as I took it, examine yourself. Like, how is your faith? As they're questioning Paul, Paul's like, you're going to question me, but how about you check yourself? Examine. It says, examine means to try, to test, make trial of, test one's faith. And that's the definitions of it, too. And then it says, whether you be in the faith. So how is your spiritual walk? Does it align with the doctrine, the Christian doctrine? Is Christ in you, right? Is Christ in you? Does he live in you? Does he exist? Can you see Christ in your presence? Like, can you feel his presence? Can you experience him? Otherwise, you'd be a reprobate. I was like, a reprobate? What is that? So I looked it up, and it says, a person who is unprincipled, disqualified, or failed to test, often described as a bad egg or a scoundrel, lacking moral compass, rejected, abandoned, or condemned. It is also described, and it said this too, it also said describe those rejected by God to be an outcast. And I'm like, whoo-wee! Let me check myself real quick so I don't become an outcast, I guess. But I mean, for that in any way, for anybody, everybody I feel like needs a spiritual check. Like, how are you doing? Are you plateaued? Do you not feel anything? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not feeling anything, or if you're not joyful, if you do not have the fruit of the Spirit, or you just got a little dark, you might want to do some self-reflecting, some self-check. How is the presence of Jesus in you? Do you know your faith? Is your faith there? Is it as strong as you think? Because I'm a prime example. I have thinking that I'm strong, but then he puts me in situations to build my strength, but I still, man, without him, like I said, we'll get there. Without him, man, I would be absolutely nothing. So, to me, I'm taking this as, okay, let me do some self-reflecting. Let me see what it has been this past year. And it's kind of hard for me because I don't know. I just hope that you guys gather, or I can share what he can do for your life if you just stay obedient. And it's tough. It's tough. But you know what's funny is I didn't give my subject to Brother Neiman or anything like that. Right? Coincidence, huh? Doubt it. No. But what's it say? And it even says how you ought to walk even. Hey, how about that? This is basically what I'm trying to get at. Maybe if you stay on the right path. Now, this is just from my own personal experience. If you stay on that right path, you're going to have glory. You're going to have just beautiful scenery. You know what I mean? You just got to stay on that straight and narrow. And so, let's talk about how Jay became to be I don't want to say a preacher, became to be who I am today, thus far. Okay? So we all know that I was struggling. Well, let's start like what I used to. Okay, at the beginning, like even way at the beginning, I used to think this was just a book, not books. Okay? I used to think that it just talked about Christmas and Easter. Okay? And for some reason, 12 dudes around the table that is going to eat. But that's how I looked at it back in the day, you know? Just that's because that's right then is like really like wrong, right? Like that's me before saved, right? So just think about how I used to think. I'm like, can't even believe I used to think like that. And I even said dudes. I was like, okay. But anyways, so, right, I know nothing, right? Know nothing because I just called them 12 dudes. Did you hear that, right? I didn't even say disciples. So, and also, they only talked about Christmas and Easter. Okay, that's what I was thought. So, that was prior. So fast forward, you know, I get saved. I start learning. I fall again, and slowly start getting back up. And during that time, he calls me to preach, and I'm like, no way. I can barely speak regular English. Okay, I can barely read. I barely graduated. You know. At this time, I've seen the Bible. Right? I've been reading a little bit of it. I'm like, I can't even pronounce these words. So how am I going to do this? And Pastor always, I'm so glad I got me a Paul. I got me a personal Paul. I'm blessed, okay? I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I got a personal Paul. Got my own personal Paul. Hey, I'm blessed. And he's just that encouragement that I need, you know? He says, Jay, you're not, he's trying to explain to me, the more you do, the more it's going to be. The more you'll read it and all these things. And I'm going, crying. Like, no, I'm not going to be able to do it. And so he gets me set up for Bible college. I started Bible college, which, mind you, now, it was kind of boring at first. I'm not going to lie. But now I'm in the good stuff. So it's fun. Now it's nice. I'm past all the, what is the Bible? And it's good. The history of the Bible is good. But now I'm in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John right now in college, right? I'm getting to learning all the good stuff. What came about, the disciples, how everything just came about. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Kind of, which in a way, the more I know, the more I find out in school, the tougher these get. So I'm like, maybe I should slow down college a little bit. Just kidding, I'm not. But anyways, I get signed up for college, and Pastor says, how you're going to be preaching first of the month, first Sunday of every month. And I said, at first, remember, I fought you for it. I fought you, you know. I was like, what did it last 2 seconds maybe? Yeah, it lasted probably 2 seconds. I said, no. And then, okay, because we were at the breakfast table. And I said, okay. And that's when he got me, So how many Sundays, I wonder? I don't remember when my first, like, after that talk, when it was going to come about. But after I got set up at Bible college, and my first Sunday's coming up, I can remember, I am terrified. Because I don't know where these guys get their messages. You know, no one said anything about how they prepare the sermon. They just say, go to Bible college, learn, and get your associates. So I don't even know where to start. And then he pops in my strength. He gives me Philippians. Now, all this is going to be my sermons, so hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully it's in order and all that good stuff. Well, he lays on strength, and my aunt gives me Philippians 4:13, and it says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. And I said, and that was my sermon. So I don't exactly remember. I was reading it, and I'm going, ooh, I hope I didn't sound that ridiculous. Because like you go from now to then, and I just see slowly improvements from even my typing. Anyways, so it was a pretty simple sermon. It reminded me, it brought me back to remind me that he is my strength, that it's not me, it's him. He carries me through my storm, and no matter what, through him, I can do anything. He will lead me through any storm. He's my shelter in a time of storm, right? So I do that sermon. Obviously, I'm still having a hard time with it. I'm still having a hard time. I really don't want to, I'm not in it. I'm not 100%, not even 1%, maybe 2 at this point. Because it's, I'm fighting this, honestly. Fighting it still. And so I'm putting myself in front of, I'm being prideful in a way, because I'm all worried about me. Me. Not what he's doing for me. What I want to do. Not what he wants to do. What I want to do. So he said, my next sermon on pride. Go figure. He says, he gives me Proverbs 16:18 through 19. And he says, pride goeth before, well, not him specifically, but it says, instructions. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better it to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. And he also brought me back to how many times when somebody would want to do it their way, how many times they would be gone, right? And he reminded me that I need to stop putting myself first. I need to be humble. He reminded me that it's not about the accolades, no matter how great it looks. It's not about what you do, it's about what he does. So make sure we don't put ourselves before him, otherwise we're gonna fall, right? And it kind of put that in perspective, because here I am still putting myself before him because I don't want to do it, right? And he's shown me what happens to prideful people. I'm like, ooh, I better just do as he asks and calm down just a little bit. And still struggling with my emotions. I'm still struggling with my emotions. Right? I still feel like I don't want to. Struggling. I'm doing it, but not diligently. I'm doing it, but not wholeheartedly. I'm doing it just because I don't want to deal with conviction. That's what I was doing at that part. For real. I didn't want to deal with conviction. I said, well, if I do it, then I don't feel this. So then he lays on my heart how I'm struggling with emotions. And he says, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and Claymore, I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. Clamor, and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, with all intention. And be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted or compassionate, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake has forgiven you. At this point, I'm kind of bitter. And like when I was doing the sermon, I was crying out a lot. And I was taking it out on people that I work with and like just my surrounding. And how is that fair? Because first off, it has nothing to do with anybody that's around me, right? And second off, that's not very Christ-like, right? To take out whatever's wrong with you out on other people, right? That's not very Christ-like. So all these things he's showing me, and I'm going, good night. And I'm just being awful at work because of my uncomfortable spirit still. Didn't realize it. And bitterness is the root to all evil. And all these things I've been taught already. You know, evil speaking. If we're going to be Christ-like, then we need to forgive because, for God's sake, God forgave us. So what am I doing? Yeah, it's just peeling me away and just, nope, yup, nope. And I'm just, leave me alone. And he's just like, get back here. You know, stop it. You know, I'm just like, no. But at this time, he's got me now a little bit. I'm understanding just a wee bit. He's right. How is he supposed to be working with all this darkness? How am I not grateful? I'm very, very not grateful. You know, I'm not being very grateful. I'm not being much of a believer. I'm just probably going because at this point he's asking me to. At this point, it's more than, at this point, it's kind of words still and not applying. It's more, it's not feelings yet or just disappointing. I just look at this and I'm just reminding myself of what I was right here and it wasn't good. And I was still, and obviously he's doing this, right, because he cannot work with how I was. How I'm being at these moments in times, he's not going to be able to work with me right there because I have that doubt. I'm not even trusting in him. I'm not even, you know, I have all this bitterness, just all this reminder, right? And I still am not trusting him and him as I should, obviously, because I'm still doubting. And it's just not right, you know? And here I am like, oh, man. Now he's really getting to me. He's really getting to me because I'm still, at this point, I'm like, man, oh, man. I need to be more compassionate. And I still, but, oh, yeah, I forgot. And at that point, I said, I think I said, no, I can't say it wrong. It's Claymore, or Clamor. And what did I say? Claymore? Yeah, I said Claymore. That was it for me. I was done. I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And I told you guys after the fact that I was going to quit that Sunday. But instead, he gave me Proverbs 3. And I know that this isn't Jesus specifically. But, I mean, who else is giving me this instruction? Who else is giving me this? I mean, nobody called me up on the phone and told me anything about this. This is all came from him. I know this. But still wasn't confident. So he gave me Proverbs 3, chapter 3, verses 5 through 7. And mind you, this is my first 3 verses. I was like, 3 verses? Why 3 verses? Because at the time I'm only doing 1 or 2. Now I got to do 3. So I'm complaining because I got to do 3. But this is why. Because he says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart. And I'm not. Why? He says, and lean not unto thy own understanding, which I am still, leaning on my own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him. Now, it wasn't. And he shall direct thy path. Be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. This was a nice, friendly reminder to me and saying, what happened when you wanted to lean on your own understanding? What happened when you didn't trust in me with all your heart? I ended up on probation. That's what happened. I was like, oh, man. This was a reality check for me. He says, you're not trusting me with your own whole heart. You're trying to lean on your own understanding. You're not acknowledging me in any of your ways, so how am I even supposed to direct your path? So you're still evil speaking, which it tells me not to. I'm still thinking all these bad thoughts. So am I departed from evil? I guess not, according to this. Talk about reality check. That's when he starts getting a hold of me. I say, yeah, you're right, Lord, I'm not. I have no confidence. So that the confidence builder, right? This is all, mind you, remember, this is my foundation, right? So I'm adding, right? This is all my confidence. Trust in the Lord. Do not lean on your own understanding, right? He is your strength, right? He's all these things. If you let him, he will do that for you. He will do that for you. He will. That's all he's doing for me right now at this point. Because I'm in no shape or form at this point to be preaching any good news, because I still have issues with my own self. So I'm in no shape or form. Mind you, I didn't know at the time about how this was going about and how he was just doing this in order. And it's just so wonderful, because I look back and all the times I didn't want to be obedient, and I was, and that little ring-a-ding just gets a little better, and just a little better, and a little better, and the conviction kind of goes a little lower, and it's just the trust that I have with all my heart. I mean, you got to trust him with every ounce of your body, okay? You cannot lean on your own understanding and expect you to do any type of thing. Like, again, when I tried to lean on my own understanding, each time, or not even when I got saved, but every time when I was lost, and where did it get me? Nowhere. My own understanding, I have no understanding, okay? He is my understanding, okay? And then when I build that relationship, he directs my path, okay? Fear him and depart from evil, okay? Because we know how quickly he can take everything away. I know how quickly things look okay, and you want to think that, you know, right? You examine yourself, and, I'm doing okay. And next thing you know, you lean on your own understanding, and you fall. And you're going to fall hard. And it is not fun, because it is a tough climb if you're up there and he makes you fall. And if you fall, it's a hard time getting back up. It was rough. But you know what? I had a great support system. He gave me a great support system. But if I didn't take it seriously, I wouldn't be here, I don't think. But the way God used all y'all in my life to keep me together after I fell, I just can't thank y'all enough. I can't thank him for enough. I can't. And that's what I'm trying to hopefully show through my walk, that the obedience, everything that they say in here, all the instruction and guidance, yes, there's great history, but the instruction and guidance is very, very important. And it's not just here for the health. You got to look past the words. You got to dig deep. You got to dig deep. You got to dig deep, right? Because, and then, so I'm trying to get, where am I? I'm trying to get, oh no, Hebrews, don't do this. All right, here we go. That's what I thought. Thank you. Anyways, so I'm still, my faith, right? My faith is still, even after all that, even after leaning on your own understanding. Why I'm making it hard to myself, I don't know. But he gives me this. He says, and this is Paul, I think in the Hebrews. He says, now faith, or whoever wrote Hebrews, it seems like it's Paul, but they don't say. But now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And for by it the elders obtained a good report. Right? Remember this? Like Moses and Noah. You know, when before the Israelites didn't believe, but when Moses split the river, and after that they were rejoicing and believing. Right? So those are all what faith, and it's a faith. If Moses did not have that faith, that wouldn't have happened, right? But he had that faith. So it's we might not know, we can't see, right? But that's where that foundation comes in handy, because he would just start building that strong foundation. We don't want sand, right? We want that cement foundation. And that is where he comes in with this instruction to build that, to do these things that he asks of us, right? And we got to imply it to our lives. We can't just talk about it. We got to be about it, okay? We have got to be about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, we got to be about it. And then he gives me 2 Timothy, right? This, you can tell I didn't, mind you, I didn't even go over this. So usually when I go over this, I usually set my my verses up, and that way when I get to that point, all I got to do is just turn to the page. I couldn't do that this time. So I'm still struggling. Even though, my faith is my substance. He is my strength, right? I have to not to be so angry, not bitter, quit complaining, pretty much, because we have this holy calling, right? I have a holy calling. And it says, for God had not given us, in 2 Timothy, this is Paul writing to Timothy, his second epistle to Timothy, as Timothy is trying to take over, or he's, the church of Enoch, and Timothy is just, I can relate to Timothy, because, he's in a panic, and that's why Paul is still encouraging, and Paul is such an encourager, great encourager, and I needed this too. For God had not given us a spirit of fear, which I think sometimes maybe, no, he didn't. So the fear, we shouldn't even have any fear. Nervousness, maybe, but we got to have that confidence, right? That trust. If you have fear, you're not going to have confidence. So that's got to go. Well, we have the power and love and sound mind, right? Self-control, okay? We are not ashamed of the testimony of the Lord or of me, his prisoner, and that's Paul. I was going to say Paul, but then I didn't know if I could. So of me, his prisoner, or Paul, and that we got to be partakers of the affliction of the gospel according to the power of God. So not only do we have a calling, but we got to do it with great, with love, with sound mind, with his power, with him, as he asks, and at the same time, be ready for afflictions, because not everybody's going to want to hear the gospel. Not everybody's going to treat us with respect. Not everybody's going to be all nice to us, and we got to be prepared for that. We got to be prepared for that. And I mean, look at Paul. Paul went through it, but he just kept going. They left him for dead. He kept going. They had to take a beheading to get him in I think Rome. But Paul just kept going. He just kept fighting that fight, and that's what we're here. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be butterflies and rainbows, but we have a holy calling, not according to our works, right? And this is verse 9, and I'm kind of paraphrasing. So he saved us. He called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and his grace, which was given through Christ Jesus before the world began, right? God sent his only begotten Son to die for us so we could be saved by his grace and his mercy. And it's not us. It's him, right? We can't forget that when we call upon his name and we start building that relationship, we take that oath, that oath of holy calling. It might not be back here, but as Pastor said today, God will put you in those places where you need to be, but you need to be ready. You need to not have that fear. You need to have that spirit of power. You need to have that spirit of love and that fruit of the Spirit. You can't just be all, poor me and why me, like OJ. You don't want to be a crybaby. Not at all, because then you're ungrateful. Then you're not ready. You just won't be prepared. All these things are just preparing us on how to be. So we, again, can spread that good news. Be that bright light in this dark world, right? We got to be that light in this dark world. And which brings me to this point, if I can find it. Just bear with me. Like I said, couldn't prepare like I normally could. So you guys are just gonna have to do. Come on. Or I'm just gonna paraphrase. Bear with me, I'm sorry. Like I said, didn't get to prepare. Anyways, okay. That Philippians 2:14, 2 verses 14 through 16. I really want to read it. Oh, 12:57. As you can tell, I'm scrambling. It's okay. It's okay. 12:57. Okay. Come on, Jay. Get it together. There we go. Good night. Sorry about that. Anyways, Philippians 2:14 through 16. It says, because I was saying we have to be really without complaining or, do all this. We have a holy calling and we have a purpose. And not because of us, because of God's grace. And sent his only begotten Son to die for us. And as Paul says, even in Philippians, right? Yeah. Come on, Jay. Anyways. All right. Get it together. Okay. Anyways. So, sorry about that. You can tell this is where I kind of stopped getting prepared, it looks like. So, anyways, we want to do this without murmuring and right? We want to do this without murmuring and disputings. Okay? Do all things without murmuring and disputings. And I've been doing that. And murmuring is like, complaining amongst yourselves. Disputing is like complaining. So do all, which is doesn't seem very grateful, right? That ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in this world, holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Christ, that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain. I want to stop complaining. I want to be how he wants me to be. I want to be grateful. I want to be harmless and blameless. I want to be a light in this perverse nation. Because you never know what's going on. And obviously that's our duty, right? Because we got to be Christ-like. We have all this instructions on how to be. And you don't see Christ leave anybody behind. He didn't leave nobody behind. If anything, he was mad at like Pharisees and the people that weren't about it, that acted like they were about it, but they weren't. That's not pleasing to him. The prideful stuff, the things that he's done, like to me, the two top things would be pride and forgiveness. Because God, Christ, we're forgiven, right? We don't live. We shouldn't. God doesn't live in our past. We shouldn't live in other people's. God didn't write anybody off. We shouldn't. You just never know who needs that light. But if you're gonna be murmuring, if you're gonna be complaining, and if you're gonna be dark, and if you're just not gonna be grateful, then there's no point in using you. And you gotta just think about that. These instructions, and this is just for me. These are all eye openers for me. I'm going, golly, I'm not even close, and I wasn't at this time because I have to be reminded. He was reminding me of all these things. Okay? He was reminding me, you're still thinking, you shouldn't be, why are you still thinking like this? You're still thinking wrong. Still thinking, my thought process was still a little shaky. It was, but it wasn't. It was. I'm just so thankful that, he did not, he just kept going and he kept going. And I just, man, when you get it's never comfortable. Excuse me. I don't want to say I have confidence, I want to say I have confidence. I have a little bit more confidence. I still struggle. With being behind this pulpit because, one, I don't have an associate's, and two, I just have a hard time speaking. But I can't think like that anymore. I can't. I have a duty. I have to be as he asks. And if I'm not, I'm going to miss out on something. I'm going to miss out on a blessing. I'm going to miss out on, or somebody else is going to take it, right? I just want, but be that bright light. And there's another example he gave me. This is another sermon. This was the slothful man, right? It says, this was in Proverbs 12, 25 through 28. And this summed it up for me too, because it says heaviness. This is the same things I was just talking about. Heaviness in the heart of a man maketh it stoop, but a good word maketh it glad, right? So just like me, when I was in jail and I didn't think I had anything, I just thought I was a lost cause. And I said, Lord, now's the time if I could. The next day, the chaplain came in and he gave me a good word and just told me about myself, and my life changed that day. So you just never know who needs the word. So don't have that heavy heart. Be glad so we can help somebody, you know, because for me, and this is from my experience, from what he's doing in my life, from when I was trying to fill a void to come to find out he is that void, it makes it so much easier. I have peace. I have peace, man. I have so much peace because the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of a wicked can seduce them. So we're righteous and lawful. We have it. I mean, I don't have a car, a house, or anything. So if you ask somebody on looking out, looking in, I don't have anything to anybody. But if you ask me personally, I have it all. I have it all. I have peace. I have such joy in my heart. I know that my name is written in gold. I know that I'm just passing through. This is not my permanent spot. I'm on my way to heaven. And as I'm down here, it is my job, though, to spread that gospel, the good news on my way out, to maybe help somebody through their journey, to maybe help them get started to where they need to go and why, and help. But I can't do that if I have all this negativity on me. And he showed me that as I'm trying to figure this out, and how he wants me to be as a preacher, how he wants me as a person, not alone, not just a preacher or a pastor, but a person, an individual alone. Because just because I stopped preaching here today doesn't mean I need to stop as soon as my feet hit the ground. As soon as my feet hit that ground, that does not mean I stop talking about the gospel. Okay? I have to do it every day, every moment. You have to be the slothful man, right? Roasteth not that which he took in his hunting. So, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. So you have got to go all in, not halfsies. If you're gonna half-heart this ain't for you, I guess. Or it's for you, but I don't know how to explain it. I just don't think that it would be. You might say, okay, I'm not even preaching, or I'm not this. But that's fine. Don't look at it like that. Look at it like I have a duty. There's somebody today, tomorrow, next month, next year, there's going to be somebody that is going to be at their lowest of their lows, right? The lowest. And they're going to need a good word. They're going to need somebody that is compassionate, tender-hearted, somebody that has the fruit of the Spirit. They're joyful. That sound mind. They have all, right? They're all this, not. Because what's that even going to do if we just come in and, hey, you heard about Jesus? They're going to be like, yeah, exactly what I thought. He's boring. No, that doesn't get nobody. I say, hey, do you know about your father? Let me tell you what he has done in my life. Or you're just upbeat like this? What is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? Let me tell you. I'm saved. I got nothing wrong. I have no worries. I'm too blessed to be stressed, man. I got God in my life. And he has molded me into who I am today. It's him. It's him. And through my walk, I want somebody to see what he can do, right? Galatians, and I don't mean anything by this, but I just know that Galatians 1:10, for do I now persuade men or God, or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of God. I'm not here for man's approval. I'm here for God's approval, okay? And I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to please him and do as he asks. Because I know what happens if you don't. I know the conviction, if you don't have to deal with conviction, just don't do it. And if you don't make, what do you say, sir? Learn from other people's mistakes. You don't make the mistakes, you learn from others. Okay, don't get saved and still dabble. Because he will knock you right back to where you started. Now you got to start all over. And tell you what, it was even harder to start over than it was to, at first. I had to go all the way back. I'm sure that there was a lot of doubt, like, oh, we lost Jay, it's over with for Jay. I'm sure of it. You know, I would have thought the same thing. But God said, man, no. Gave me the fear. He knocked me right where I needed to be and say, oh man, I need to do this even better. I wasn't leaning on him. It's him, not us, okay? It's him, not us. These are the things. Oh yeah. So just get locked in. It's so funny because through all this, all my cares, so I used to love football and food were my two top things. And I would always make a joke, don't take them from me. Don't take them from me. And he did slowly. I didn't even know it. He did it without me even knowing. And now I'm working on the Super Bowl. I've never missed a Super Bowl ever. And I don't even care. So that's what I'm trying to say. There's going to be things in your life that are important, you think so. But without you even knowing, he will take them out. But all you got to do is be obedient, you know, how you ought to walk, you know. You should just be diligent. You should be, as he asked, you should do all things as he asked, because we're nothing without him. Amen. And that's all I got to say.